welcome everyone to today's session, which is on automating color conformance using barcodes. As always, I'd like this to be a very interactive session, so if anyone has any questions at any point, please put the question in the chat and we will cover it. So as we talk about barcode automation, let's see here. We've got some automatic work going on here. Let's, as we talk about barcode automation, collecting production data is imperative in order to understand how well your company is manufacturing work for your customers. And that's what ChromaChecker is all about, is collecting production data, helping the operator know immediately whether or not the production data is sellable or not. And if it's not, helping the operator fix the printer in order to produce sellable data. And the more we can collect this data without human errors, the more valuable that data becomes. And as we continue to integrate artificial intelligence into our solution, artificial intelligence only works with data, and the more data, the better the artificial intelligence. And so we want to collect all the data we can about printing devices so that we can intelligently understand when different parts wear to the point of breaking, or even to the point of where it breaks, so that we can fix that right away, get the vendor involved if necessary to get that device back up and operational, making money for you. With this data, being able to organize it and understand it is critical. So being able to build reports to show you how each printer is performing when different employees are working on those printers is invaluable. We have found through experience that the higher the level of knowledge with the operator, the more production you get out of your printers. So the more we can educate your operators on how to be a better operator, the more sellable print you'll get out of your printers. So understanding this in your organization to know which operators are really on top of operating the devices and ones that need, let's say, some additional help is fundamental to increasing your company's profitability. And then on the flip side, being able to give your customers reports showing them how you printed their jobs is becoming more and more critical. I mean, I remember 10 years ago when I would go out and do G7 press runs, I had to ask the printer what color bar they were using on their press sheets. And even 10 years ago, there were a lot of printers that would say, oh, we're not using a color bar. And I'd say, well, you have to put a color bar on the press in order for us to do a G7 run. And they'd say, well, okay, just give us any one and we'll run it. All those printers that weren't running color bars aren't in business anymore. They're gone. And I think the same is going to be true with digital printers. If you're not running a control strip at least once a day on your digital printer to know that that printer is printing sellable color, your days are numbered. Maybe 10, maybe less, but this is something that's critical so that you can prove to your customers that you're printing sellable color for their work. And ideally, you want to collect all this data with as little overhead as necessary, and this is where barcodes facilitate this capability. So this presentation is going to be some slides, but over half of it will be actual demonstration of how this works. So the first way to use a barcode reader is to facilitate allowing the operator to log into the ChromaChecker capture interface, which is used to measure, capture is used to connect to different measurement devices to enter the measurement data into ChromaChecker and show the operator whether or not that printer is printing sellable data. So using a barcode reader to log in is a great use because now you know which operator is running which piece of equipment real time. And this works also for devices like IntelliTrax or even an inline Spectro in a HP Indigo, because ChromaChecker supports the inline Spectro in an HP Indigo, and you can have the operator log in to capture, and it says, oh, at 9:01, Don is working on the Indigo, and then all the readings from the Indigo for that shift or till the next operator logs in, those are associated with Don. So you know how well that printer printed when Don was working it. One of the most expensive pieces of equipment in a shop when you're dealing with color is not the software, it's the instruments, whether we're dealing with an I1 or a Konica Minolta Miro 9 or an ISIS over here, or an I1 over here, or a Barbieri over here. These are not inexpensive pieces of equipment. So if we can have one capture workstation with software, and by the way, capture works on a minimal computer. I run it on a $100 Windows tablet computer will run capture. It's a very low overhead. So the cost is really in the instrument. And if you've got, let's say, 5, 8 digital devices, you only need one Miro 9. You only need one ISIS. And then the operators, once or twice a day, when they go to measure the color coming off the printer, they go over, log into their capture station, measure the target, see what it is, go back and continue doing production on that printer. So this is a really easy way to do it. And in my demonstration, I'm going to be using my old Aldus name badge. And on the Aldus name badge, I've got a barcode, or in this case, a QR code on the back side of it that I've made from ChromaChecker and put onto my barcode. But a lot of companies already have barcodes in their users' name badges. And we can link to an alias of that barcode so that you don't need to use our barcodes. If you're already using barcodes or even RFID codes for your operators, you can get an RFID card reader connected to our capture software. So the operator uses the RFID card to log in, or a barcode reader to log in. So really easy to do. Now, a second way you can use barcodes is to automate the capturing of the print condition. So every printer has multiple print conditions, meaning the printer could be printing on coated paper and on uncoated paper, and maybe on foil, because you might have a spherical instrument to measure the foil. So you can now associate your control strip with a barcode. And for the most part, ChromaChecker not only builds the artwork for the control strip, but it builds the artwork for the barcode as well. And so in this way, each print condition can have its own barcode. So when the operator goes to measure an uncoated substrate from Indigo 3 that doesn't have an inline Spectro, they bring that print over and they scan the barcode with their capture software, and it says, oh, this is Indigo 3 and it's substrate 4. And it automatically activates that track, and the data goes into that track. So the operator doesn't have to make decisions in terms of, okay, was that substrate 3 or was that substrate 4? It's all encapsulated in the barcode. So it makes it super easy to have operators manage multiple printers, which more and more I see happening in the field, and it eliminates those errors that can happen in that type of scenario. Now, if you have a device like an ISIS, an X-ray ISIS device supports barcodes as part of the artwork. And today, ChromaChecker can build the ISIS barcode, and you can apply it to your ISIS chart. Now, today, ChromaChecker does not build the artwork of the color bar, but luckily, you can still use the free I1 profiler to build the artwork, and then either use the barcode that I1 profiler provides and you load that information into ChromaChecker, so it uses that, or you can use the ChromaChecker ISIS barcode and just paste it over top of the artwork of the I1 profiler generated artwork, and then you've got that as well. And we've got complete directions on how to do that on our website. In fact, many of these scenarios that I'm going to walk you through, in fact, let me rephrase that. All the scenarios I'm going to walk you through today, I have on a cheat sheet with all the links to our manual, so that if you want to do any of these things after this seminar, just ask for this cheat sheet, and it's all related to barcodes. I'll get it to you, and then you'll know exactly where to go. Just making things easier to find for you guys. So if you want to implement this type of technology, just trying to make it easy for you. And let's demonstrate right now how the ISIS barcode works, because it's pretty slick. So we've got this video here, and I actually fast forwarded it to the point that the barcode is being measured. So within Capture, we have two. It went kind of quick there, so I'm just going to back up a little bit. Within Capture, we have when you have an ISIS connected to Capture, we have a barcode auto recognition mode. And when it's in the auto recognition mode, you don't have to tell it which printer the data is coming from.
From two different printers and two different substrates.
Let me mute this so you don't hear my voice cross. So now when you load the target in with the ISIS barcode, the ISIS is actually looking at the barcode. It's recognizing which printer and substrate that this target was printed on. And then it pops up and it shows that this, in this case, is press A. And it shows you, yes, it's a pass, or no, it's a fail. Now, when I load a second target into the ISIS, it again measures it, goes through the process, it's accelerated. And here it knows it's press B, and it's passing and gives you all the relative data to that. So with the ISIS, it makes it really easy to automate the measurements as they come into the ChromaChecker system.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
We were not seeing your screen on that.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you seeing my screen for anything?
I'm just seeing you. Oh, now I'm seeing it.
Okay, well, operator error here. Sorry, guys. So I'll make the PDF available to anyone who wants it as well. Luckily, we're only a couple slides in, but thanks, Beth, for calling that out. So the first thing we talked about was using the barcode to have the operators log in. The second thing we talked about was essentially being able to take control strips and applying a barcode to them for each print condition. And then the third thing was using the ISIS barcode capability. And let's just show that ISIS video again, because I think it's worthwhile. So let's go back in and show the video. I'm going to back up. I kind of explained what was happening, but let's just back this up to about here. So here's the barcode recognition within the Capture software that I mentioned. Here are two targets with two different barcodes representing two different print conditions, meaning two different printers, two different substrates. As you load the paper into the ISIS measures that barcode as well as the physical target, and it knows automatically that this is for, in this case, it's, I think, press A, and it passes, and then you take a second target that came out of press B, you measure it, and it goes through it, and then it, of course, comes up and shows you, yes, press B passes, and you're all good to go. So that's how easy it is to use barcodes with the ISIS. Let's go ahead and just minimize that and get back to the presentation. We also support barcodes using our virtual control strip technology. This typically is used with an IO. And the concept of this is it can be applied for both digital and conventional presses. And I'm going to click on this video and go to the page. And this video shows the barcode readers here in the lower left-hand corner. And when we say it's a virtual control strip, what it's doing is it's measuring artwork from the actual printing page into ChromaChecker. So in this way, you can measure without color bars. You can measure the actual artwork on the sheet without a color bar. So we've got capture loaded, and we're just going to speed up here. We've got an RFID card reader, so the operator, and then of course a barcode reader. And then, so the operator scans in with the RFID card reader. Now you'll see, here's the press sheet. And it just happened. There's a barcode, lower left-hand corner of the sheet. He put it underneath the barcode reader, it turned red. And then that told Capture that in this template, we're going to measure 6 brown spots, 2 paper whites, and then 4 grays. So the instrument knows where to go on the sheet. And so it's measuring the 4 brown spots here on the sheet. And you'll see, I'm pointing out here on the IO table, we have magnets set up as a jig so that the operator loads that sheet and it tucks that top right corner into a slot. So the sheet is always in the same position on the IO table. So now the I1 knows exactly where to measure on that IO table. And you'll see here, it happened to fail, but now he's taken he's scanning the barcode right there. A new template comes up with 4 green, 4 cyan, and 4 gray. So it's a totally different layout. He again tucked the sheet into the upper right-hand corner, and now the instrument measures an entirely different sequence of locations and colors off the sheet, telling him how well this sheet is printing on the press sheet, and communicating to the operator what they need to do in terms of increasing or decreasing densities to hit the right spot color or hit the right process color. It's all very automated, very fast, and that's what this presentation is all about, is automating your production, getting better data faster to your system. So let's go to the next slide.
Hey, Dave.
Yes.
How do you configure a virtual control strip?
All right. So configuring the virtual control strip is quite easy using Capture. And you would put your sheet with the given template, the artwork, which it could be, of course, the proof, the artwork in the right position on your IO table. And then you position the head, and in a virtual control strip mode, it records the head positions. So you literally move the head with your hand, pushing the button to record which places on the sheet you want to measure. So you can measure a color bar on the sheet. You can measure artwork within the imaging area of the sheet. It's all up to you. And we have step-by-step instructions on the website, which I'll include in this cheat sheet for anyone who's interested to look at after this seminar. Okay, it's quite easy. So the next piece of equipment that we greatly automate the measurement on is called Vioria. Vioria is the company name, and they make 2 different inline measurement devices that can retrofit to virtually any roll-to-roll printing device. They have a Delta Web and a Delta One. ChromaChecker Capture supports both of these instruments today. And in this way, the Delta Web or the Delta One can be mounted inside the printer or outside the printer. In this case, I'm giving you an example of it being shown outside the printer. And so in this way, you can measure the barcode. It knows which paper is in the roll. It knows potentially what job, what customer it's for. So as it's running in an automated measurement mode, it doesn't require any operator to do any measurements, but the operator can see Capture. They can see that the spots and the process colors and the extended color gamut colors are printing the way they're supposed to be printing. And if not, ChromaChecker will guide them in terms of changing the density or improving the balance on the sheet, depending upon how you have the color bar built, to ensure that you're getting the the sellable print out of the printing device. So this is a new addition to the ChromaChecker suite. We announced it at our color conference at the end of January. It's now available, and we've got some customers using it and really loving the application of an automated measurement device. So this is kind of like the inline spectro that you find in the Indigo, but you can retrofit it to virtually any third-party printing device, even Indigos. The next device I want to talk to you about.
Do you have any more information on the Fioria device?
We have quite a bit of information on it on our website. So again, I'll put this as a link in our document that I'll send out. You guys, it's on my last slide, but if you want this document, just do an email to info@chromachecker.com and we'll send you this document after the presentation today. Because they do have two different instruments and they work a little bit differently. One's a little more expensive than the other because it's more capable, but all that will be in this information that I share. The next device I want to tell you about is another new development from our great team at ChromaChecker. And this one we're calling ChromaCheck. And essentially what it does is it works with all Xerox PrimeLink, UltraLink, and VersaLink equipment. We're implementing this right now on 2,000 Xerox 9070 printers at Office Depot. Every retail location in the United States, 1,000 locations, will have two versions of ChromaCheck on their printers, checking that their printers are printing to a Grackle condition every day. If you're a brick and mortar printer and you're not hitting Grackle every day, the fact that Office Depot right down the street here, I got one a mile away from me, will be able to ensure that they're printing Grackle every day, that should tell you something. You should cut this part of the video and show it to your managers and say, color is critical. Color is becoming an expected attribute of printing devices. You cannot get away with printing any way, any day anymore. So many printers do that. If you're not on top of your color game, history's short. I don't want to scare you too much, but this is becoming so ubiquitous that it's so simple. And you'll see this. The way this ChromaCheck app works is the operator hits a control panel. In fact, let me go to the video on this. The operator hits a control panel on the Xerox multifunction device. And they hit this control panel and they say, check printer. So here's the control panel. Here's the ChromaCheck app. Okay. So the operator goes up, hits the ChromaCheck button. It then pulls our server. It actually sends the serial number of the printer to our server. Our server generates barcodes on the fly and sends a PDF, date and time stamped, down to the printer. So this is now coming out of the printer, and we know what serial number, we know where this printer is, and we know the date. So you can't fool it, because now the operator looks at it, makes sure there's no streaks or banding. They say, hey, it looks good. They put it in the scanner, writes it up or wrong side down, doesn't matter. Our software will figure it out. They scan it in. We're using the scanner on the printer as a spectrophotometer. Obviously, it's not a spectrophotometer. It's more like a colorimeter, but we're converting the RGB to LED data, and we're assessing whether or not that printer is printing in a G7 state, as well as what the E factor is in terms of, is it sellable based on this company's requirements. And that's it. It's done. Gives it pass or fail, and you know that this printer is in a sellable condition. How easy is that? It's incredible. And so we've got this rolling out to, like I said, 2,000 printers. So if you want quality print, go to Office Depot and you'll be able to get it from behind the counter. we're looking at adding this in this same capability to their self-serve machines. So stay tuned on that. But very exciting technology. So that's our ChromaCheck technology. The next product I'd like to talk about is this one right here. This is the Konica Minolta Miro 9. And we now have ChromaChecker capture supporting the Miro 9. So it's still technically in late beta, but it's working great. We've gotten great feedback from our users. If you want to try it, please reach out. Same info at chromachecker.com. Between our support team, we'll get this and we'll be able to get you a beta if you're interested. This version doesn't support the internal barcode reading of the Miro 9. The next version will. But this version obviously supports external barcodes very, very well. And frankly, just one thing on the barcodes on this. One of the beauties of this is you can have like 4 different targets on a page. So I have a Best Buy target up here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it quick. Where I've got 4 different targets on the Best Buy page. Or here's actually an ID Alliance page where I've got, again, 4 different targets on it. Well, I can tell the Miro 9 those 4 different targets, and when I measure it in, it'll automatically measure all 4 targets. But let's say you just wanted to measure 1 target, then that would be where you would use the external barcode to measure the 1 target, and makes it very automated. So a really powerful device, fast and automated. Yes, question.
Yeah, back to that app on the printer. Can that work with a Konica Minolta or a Canon printer?
Okay, so the ChromaCheck app right now is only working on the Xerox line of equipment. We have been, there's a couple other projects that people have approached us on with one of those 2 printer manufacturers you mentioned, as well as one you haven't mentioned, but nothing to announce at this state. But yeah, expect that you'll see ChromaCheck on more printers other than just the Xerox printer, but nothing to pre-announce at this moment in time. Great question. Thanks for that. Now, we talked so far. We talked about using the barcode reader to automate the login of the operators. We've talked about the barcode reader to capture the specific printer condition. But now let's talk about using the barcode reader to capture customer name and job name. Because if you're doing a project for a Ritz, Ritz wants to know that you're manufacturing their box correctly, no matter where it's being manufactured. And so in this way, you can encapsulate both customer name and job name, as well as project name, as a barcode that ChromaChecker can measure and associate with the measurement data that you're capturing, showing Nabisco, Ritz, that you've manufactured their packaging correctly. So we'll demonstrate this for you in a little bit because it's very easy and very fast, and it really shows off our new project inspector. We have a number of brand companies using ChromaChecker to ensure the integrity of their brand, no matter who is doing the printing for them. So we've got companies like Chatbooks, and we've got Lob and other companies that I can't mention, but this is where the project inspector comes in, because companies like Lob, they did about 35% of direct mail in the US last year. They've got 50 licenses of ChromaChecker that they've given to 50 of their suppliers. And the supplier can use ChromaChecker as long as they're doing work for Lob, unless the supplier buys their own version of ChromaChecker, which about 20% of them have done because they've seen the value that ChromaChecker provides them. And so in this way, when they do a Lob job, they'll scan the barcode and it'll say, oh, that's Lob. And so when it goes into the printer's ChromaChecker system, when it sees Lob, the ChromaChecker system is automatically pre-configured to share data with Lob because you do work for Lob and Lob's a known customer there. So you can set it up that if it passes, it automatically sends it to Lob. If it doesn't pass, you can set it to not automatically send to Lob if you own your own license. Because if you own your own license, you own the data. So you can control what data is going to Lob. If you're working off Lob's license, data goes to Lob no matter what. You can't stop it. So these are ways that you can, again, control how your print is printing, making sure it's sellable, making sure it's meeting Lob's expectations. And again, I'll demonstrate how easy this works as well. So the project inspector is really great. It's even great for printers that have been using ChromaChecker for a couple of years because the project encapsulates the print condition. So I'm going to be wanting to print to a Grackle condition, and that's what Lob does. Lob actually has 3 types of projects. They have a project for Grackle, printing on coated paper. It's higher quality, larger gamut type work. They have a second type of project called a uncoated type project, where it's now you're aiming for Grackle uncoated, it's smaller gamut, and it's a higher E factor, so there's more tolerance because they're not as picky about uncoated work as they are coated work. And then they have a third type, which we call transactional, which is even a smaller gamut type of work and a larger tolerance, a larger E factor for the tolerance. So depending upon what type of work you do for Lob, when you measure the QR code, it says, oh, this is coated work. So it's comparing it to Grackle and it's assessing a 4.5 E factor. Oh, this new job is uncoated. It's aiming for Grackle uncoated and it's looking for a 6 E factor. So in this way, you can scale the type of work based on your target printing condition, of the gamut that you want to hit so that all your suppliers match one another, and the amount of latitude you're giving each supplier to hit that bullseye for that reference condition. So really intelligent, fast, easy to use. So let's go in and kind of demonstrate how this technology works, make it work in real life. So the first thing I'm going to do is the operator login. So we're going to flip out of our PowerPoint and go to my capture. And I'm going to go back to my Aldis name badge with the QR code on the back. And I'm going to measure that QR code. It says, oh, this is Dave. Dave has access to 10 different printers shown on the left side of the screen. And now I'm ready to start measuring whatever I want to measure. So now I'm going to, we're going to take this color bar with the QR code, and I'm going to measure the QR code here. And it says, oh, this sheet is for the iridescent and it's on coated track. So you see the purple over on the left went down to the iridescent and it automatically chose the coated track. And now I could use my I1 or whichever instrument I want to use to measure this color bar. And then it will automatically say yay or nay and load the data into the cloud and give me the idea if my densities are right, my colors right, and my spot colors are right, and whatever else you want. And now I've got the next job coming out, and this is already waiting for me. And I go again, scan the QR code on it, and it jumps. And this came off the Inca onset. And so, again, you see how easy it is for the operator to choose codes and to measure the right target at the right time for the right printer. Super simple. Now, I'm going to log out here, and I'm going to now use another code, and I'm going to use a code for Beth. And it's right here, and I'm going to move this off to the side so you can see it. And I'm going to take my QR code or my QR reader and scan this QR code. And now it's going to log me in as Beth. And Beth is a lower level operator, and she only works on one printer. So notice on the left side, there's no list of printers as there was for Dave. There's 0 printers. it's because it's logged into the one printer that Beth works on. And this is an Inca. And so in this way, it makes things easier for Beth. Now, Beth could measure the barcode on the Inca, and you could have a different barcode for styrene versus Sintra versus foil, what have you. And then it will automatically pick the track. So Beth wouldn't even have to pick the track. But I want to point out here, ChromaChecker has a little, what we call a production checklist activated, because Beth is labeled as a lower level operator, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Which means she gets this checklist to show what she should be doing with this printer. And the first thing she should do is make sure the temperature and humidity is right. And then once she says agree to that, then it says visually evaluate the print heads for clogged nozzles. So do a nozzle check to make sure that's all right. And she says, okay. And now measure the control strip. And now it's ready to actually do the measurement. So an advanced operator doesn't need that production checklist, but a beginning operator might. And in ChromaChecker, you can define who's a beginning operator and who's an advanced operator to get this type of functionality to, again, help the operator do their job better and more effectively. Because we understand getting good help or knowledgeable help is virtually impossible today. So the more simplified we can make the process, the better it is for everybody. So now I'm going to go to the ChromaChecker cloud. I'm going to go to essentially the administrative aspect of ChromaChecker and show you how that barcode is configured within the accountability inspector. So within the accountability inspector, I can go to my staff, and this is where all my operators reside. So one thing you'll learn about ChromaChecker, unlike any other product, is other products, they're built for one person to use it. ChromaChecker is built for the entire organization to use it. And so you'll have all your operators in here. All your operators can get reports. All the managers can get reports. All operators and managers can log into the cloud to see how they're performing with a history. They only see what you want them to see. So if I'm Dave, I don't get to see how Beth is operating because that's none of my business. I'm an operator, Beth's an operator. We only see what we're doing. Our manager can maybe see both of us, but they can't see someone else's subordinate, right? So this is all configured within the accountability inspector. And you'll see when I go to Beth's login, here's Beth's login, and you'll see that she's listed as a basic level operator. And here's the QR code for her. And so all I had to do was click on that QR code. It downloads it to the computer. I put it on her name badge and we're good to go. Now, if Beth's company gave her a name badge and it already has a barcode on it, I could just take the alphanumeric definition of that barcode, put it in here, and now her existing name badge is logged into ChromaChecker. So when she takes her company name badge and scans it, it knows it's Beth, and you get all the same benefits. So pretty much all the barcode capabilities we have in ChromaChecker have this ability to have aliases to work with existing barcodes. So for instance, we've got a huge customer that had a bunch of ISIS targets already built. They were already using them. And they're like, okay, we're going to ChromaChecker. We're migrating. We outgrew our old system. We need ChromaChecker now. Do we have to redo all these targets? And it was like, no, we can take aliases for every target you already have in the previous system, put them in ChromaChecker, and now everyone keeps using the same target, the same instrument. The data is just going into ChromaChecker versus their old system, and they absolutely love it. They say, if you're interested in this company, I can't tell you in the seminar who it is, but I could tell you one-on-one, and I can give you the guy's name, and he'll say, we absolutely outgrew this old color system that we were using for many years, and we'll go on about ChromaChecker. Now, if I go to my login, you'll see I'm set up as an expert user, not that I'm an expert. And then different stages here. And of course, I have my QR code and other things as well. So again, very automated in this process. Now, that's for the login, and the RFID card is here if you didn't see it. Now, let's talk about the color bars. So the capture inspector within ChromaChecker allows you to build control strips right from within ChromaChecker. So you can build RGB, CMYK, extended color gamut, and spot color control strips in ChromaChecker. And by the way, you can have control strips with all 4 types of elements on them. So you can mix and match spot colors, CMYK, and extended color patches all within the same color bar. I don't know anyone else that can do that. And assign a barcode to it. So with ChromaChecker, you build your control strips, and then you turn them into scanning templates, which a scanning template is built specifically for a given instrument aperture size. So like the same control strip for an i1 Pro 1 versus an i1 Pro 3 Plus, i1 Pro 3 Plus has a larger aperture, you need a larger patch size, that would be a different scanning template. And then each scanning template has a measurement task, and the measurement task automatically assigns different unique barcodes to each scanning template. So here I have for my Indigo, for my i1 Pro, for different color bars, each of these is a unique custom barcode that ChromaChecker automatically makes, and I can download or if I download this target, which I'll do, I'll click on this PDF, it actually downloads the artwork with the barcode in the artwork. So this is what I distribute to actually use on my Indigo when I'm printing on coated paper or whatever it may be. And in this way, the operator takes barcode reader, measures it, and they're all good to go. So you saw already in Capture how when I'm in Capture, I can measure the given barcode, and it knows which condition that I'm working on. But we can also do it with projects. So as I mentioned, with projects, you can have different types of jobs for different types of scenarios. So let's say I've got a project here for Barilla. I'm doing this project for Barilla, and I have a specific barcode for Barilla that I just put in the lower right-hand corner of the screen. I'm using the barcode reader to measure that project, and you'll see within ChromaChecker, it will automatically come up with the Barilla project and allow me to start measuring for that Barilla project. So in this way, as I come here, it had the Barilla project, and now I'm going to take, oh, I know what's going on here. Let's log out. Beth is not, it didn't work because Beth doesn't have the credentials to work on projects and work on ChromaChecker. She only has one printer and print inspector. So I'm logging out and logging back in as me using the barcode. And now that it knows it's me, I'm going to go right and read that barcode from Project Inspector. And when I read that project in Project Inspector, it says, oh, this is the Barilla project. And now I'm going to have the ability to go in and actually measure my Reggiano. Notice it is not Barilla. It's a Reggiano box. And I've got auto recognition on as a sample. And when I measure the blue, which looks similar to Barilla, but it comes up and it says, hey, you're 9.53 delta E off. To get better, you're going to have to reduce the density by 38 points. But by looking at my parafarb diagram here, our ink GPS, you can see that the best delta E you're going to get is 6.1. That the ink is wrong. This ink will not get you to Barilla Blue, which happens to be Pantone 540. It won't get you there. You've got to reformulate the ink in order to get to this color. So the operator can go, oh, well, we either have the wrong package here or we have the wrong ink. No sense chasing our tail, trying to move the densities up or down. We've got to reformulate this and fix it to make it right. So that's how easy it is to use projects in ChromaChecker with barcodes. And we showed, I think 2 months ago, our best match function, where on the fly I was matching colors off of my little cheap laser printer here and iterating the colors to get a perfect match on the result. We did announce at that time that this best match feature, although it's one color at a time now, we're moving it to a color bar capability. So you have 18 Best Buy colors, you'll be able to output 18 Best Buy colors on the printer, measure them in with your whichever measurement device you have, and then we'll iterate all 18 colors to get the best match color down, in many cases less than 1 delta E, as long as the color's in gamut of the printer, in a very automated way. We're hoping that's going to be next month's second Tuesday presentation, is doing the best match with strip reading multiple spots at the same time. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's a very exciting technology that I know a number of you are using our single match best color, and you love it, but you're like, oh man, I have like 5 colors at the same time or 10 colors at the same time I need to do. And this actually goes with our ChromaSpot model, because ChromaSpot, if you go to chromaspot.org, that was our last month's seminar, which is a new spectral color library that's open to the industry. This ChromaSpot with our best match color will allow you to make your own custom chipbooks that match the reference values of ChromaSpot. So you make a chipbook for your ChromaSpot colors, I make one for mine. Our chipbooks will actually match really well, assuming that our instruments match really well, which ChromaChecker fixes that too, because an I1 doesn't measure exactly the same as an Exact or a Nix or what have you. So these are all problems that ChromaChecker fixes to allow us to integrate color. And with ChromaSpot and the ability to do the best match on your different printers, you can make custom chipbooks that match everyone else's custom chipbook for those colors that are in the gamut of your printer. So this is like totally industry breaking capability to get away from chipbooks that don't match and chipbooks that you can't print, and colors that are different in coded. The same color name is different on uncoded versus coded. These are all problems that you shouldn't have. It should be the same color, whether you're printing on coded or uncoded or what have you. And the software should warn you if it's out of gamut. And these are all things that our solution tackles and fixes. So the last thing I want to demonstrate is the reporting. So let's say you've done this work for Nabisco, and now you want to see and make a report for Nabisco on how you did. So I'm going to go up to my jobs, and in my jobs, I'm going to enter the name Nabisco for the customer, and I'm going to put the period for no period, show me everything I've ever printed. And when I say search, it automatically shows every job that printed on every printer, anywhere in my network, anywhere in the world. And from this point, I can make a report for all this work that I did on these, in this case, 5 different printers. Maybe this past week, I did work for Nabisco on these 5 different printing devices, and I can easily just build a report that I can, just by coming down here and clicking on the report button. And well, I have to tell it first that I'm going to build a report from all 5 printing devices and build a report, and it'll make a great little PDF here, and I can tell it what data I want on it: primary spots, G7, TVI, variations, and a summary. This customer just might want a summary. And so I say create PDF. It builds this PDF that I can then click on, show you what it looks like, and then send this out to Nabisco to show them, hey, Everything we printed for you this week is all in the green. It all meets your color expectations in terms of how close it had to be. And we're doing our job. And I hope you give us more business because we're doing our job right. So these reports are really capable. Here's an actual report from one of our customers. And this is data from essentially 30 different presses in 8 different locations. ChromaChecker aggregates the data, collects the data from all 8 presses, and shows how each facility did as a whole. The dotted line shows how the company did overall. And this is quite interesting because all the facilities are trending to a lower E factor, meaning more accurate, more precise printing, which is great. One facility isn't really getting the message. One facility is kind of going the wrong direction, although they did level off that month. But this is where you need to have a little chit chat with the manager, and they should know that they're off the rails, because the report that the plant manager of this facility, they only get the dotted line and their purple line to show the average of the company is going down and is significantly better than you. So yeah, you need to get your act under control. And at the manager level, they see which presses and potentially which operators are performing the worst, so that they know where to dedicate resources to fix it and get that press back in line. This is invaluable data. I can't even imagine printers that are printing and management doesn't have a key performance indicator, a KPI of how each press, each operator is performing related to sellable color week to week, month to month. How can you run a business without having this information? Never mind that this information gives us data that allows you to be proactive in terms of your maintenance and soon predictive because of artificial intelligence. This is the future, guys. This is where it's going. Get on the train or be left behind, because it's there. So in summary, adding barcoding to your environment helps you capture more complete data, makes it far easier for the operators, mistake-free, allows you to create phenomenal reports, not only for internal staff, managers and operators, but sales guys love these reports. Can you imagine a sales guy emailing Nabisco every week? Hey, how are we doing? We're doing great. How are your other suppliers doing? Can we get more business? Lob, when Lob first came to us, they're like, okay, this is great, but you know what? We're tired of auditing printers, because 1 in 5 printers is producing and manufacturing color to our expectations. But we've noticed that if they have ChromaChecker, they meet our expectations. Can you just send us your ChromaChecker users? We need a new printer in Minneapolis, a new printer in Salt Lake City. It's like, yeah, we're happy. I'm sure our customers aren't going to mind us telling you who is using ChromaChecker in Salt Lake City and Minneapolis, so they get more business from Lob. I mean, it was a win-win for everybody in terms of feeding this data machine to ensure sellable color. And I know most of you, if you bought a starter kit recently, it came with a two-dimensional barcode reader, which is required to measure things like QR codes, and data matrix codes, which you're going to want. You're going to want to be able to measure, data matrix codes, because they take up such a small amount of space on the print sheet. And of course, we need to take up as little space as possible. So we're running a promo for anyone who's attended this seminar. 20% off our pre-configured barcode readers that are already out of the box working with ChromaChecker. So they're regularly $99. Next 2 weeks, they'll be $79. And you can just place your order in the store and put, let's see, just put in the notes, ChromaChecker promo. and we'll honor the $79 price. And then, like I had mentioned earlier, if you want any of the links that I've shared in this presentation, or even this presentation itself, please feel free to send an email to info@chromachecker.com. We'll get that out to you and cover you on that. So are there any questions that I haven't gotten to, Beth? How are we doing?
The only one that I saw was, can it work with barcode fonts that can be generated by the RIP automatically for customer and job info?
Okay, that's an expert user. So yeah, it can. You can, it's possible to set up your workflow so that things like a job name or a customer name as part of the RIP process can be actually converted into a barcode font. And this is quite useful in a conventional workflow. So when you're going to plates and you've got, let's say, labels or things like that for Nabisco, you can actually, in the data stream of the PDF, put the customer name in there, and the RIP, like a Printergy or an AGFA or a ESCO, can convert that into a barcode. So when it's on the press sheet, again, the operator just has to use a barcode reader, read it, and it automatically says, oh, this is Nabisco, and everything gets populated in the right place. And just so you know, if you're running an automated device like an IntelliTrax, and you're not using Capture to drive the IntelliTrax, you're using some third-party software to drive the IntelliTrax, that's fine. If you still read the barcode reader and your Capture is set up to hook to that press with that IntelliTrax, we will add that data in the data stream. Just like we let you override from the IntelliTrax software, it has a make ready and a production mode. And a lot of press operators don't like to use the production mode on the IntelliTrax. You can set the production mode in ChromaChecker. It overrides the data coming from the press. The press operator still uses the press in a make-ready mode, if you will, which they like, but the data comes over into ChromaChecker labeled as production, so that when you're feeding Nabisco the production data, you're not including make-ready data. It's only including production data. So these are things that we've done to help complement what happens in the press room and overcome some of the limitations of like the IntelliTrax software. And still make it automated, and it's all about getting the right data into the customer's hands, and frankly into your internal hands, to again understand how long does it take press operator A to do make ready versus press operator B. These are all learning opportunities to help us make our employees more proficient, more productive, which in turn helps your company's bottom line. So if that's it, I hope you guys enjoyed today's seminar. Please reach out on the email, and hopefully we'll see you next month for another edition of our second Tuesday seminar. And like always, the recording should be available. We'll send an email out tomorrow or the next day, giving you links to this presentation here. So again, thanks everyone, and have a great day.